For more than a decade since the time of former President Fidel V. Ramos, the Philippines failed to pass a national ID law due to strong opposition brought about by data privacy concerns. That ended in 2018 when President Rodrigo Duterte signed Republic Act 11055 or the Philippine Identification System Act. Almost 2 years from its enactment into law and the approval of its implementing rules and regulations, there seems to be no significant headway on its implementation. In this episode, we'll take a look into the status of the rolling out of the National ID program and the issues that surround it. But before that, if you are new to this channel, we would appreciate a lot if you tap that subscribe and bell buttons below. Your subscription will inspire us to create more quality content that matches your interest.
Sabi ko dapat nilagay mo lang sa akin kasi basura lang naman, para doon lang naman ginagamit namin eh.
Oo nga, so ngayon hindi kayo nabigyan.
People who claim they didn't receive any assistance from the government's Social Amelioration Program is a common news story every day. Some complained of not having been included in the list as a reason why they received nothing.
Ako po ay taga-barangay Bulacnin, Lipa City, na si Merna Pitalsana ay napuntahan po at in-interview dito ng DHWD na ang kasama po ay ang anak niyan si Dindo. Nagkataon po na ang nag-interview ay yung ng mga kabataan. Siya pong nagpaperma sa akin. Bakit po gayon na nangyari? Hindi po ako napasama sa binigyan ng papel na Social Amelioration. Lahat po dito kasama.
The Department of Social Welfare and Development, which is tasked to implement the SAP, was quick to respond that they are encountering some problems in locating the beneficiaries, a problem that would have not occurred if the National ID program implemented on time. But where are we in the implementation of RA 11055? News had it in the past weeks that NEDA's Secretary Ernesto Pernia resigned from his post due to simmering tensions in the palace over fundamental lapses in leadership and policy making. That was a lie. A source from Malacanang who is privy to the matter said the good secretary was booted out from his office by no less than the president himself, as the chief executive lost confidence in Pernia as he was too slow in rolling out a key Duterte initiative, the National ID system, which presidents since Fidel Ramos had tried to implement but failed. According to the source, Duterte's attention had been drawn to the serious delay in the National ID system implementation, when some of those whom the Department of Social Welfare Development, or DSWD, had determined as the first priority for the distribution of the government's cash relief could not be located. Duterte reportedly asked his officials, "Why don't you find them through the National ID system?" When it was explained that the system was still in the pilot stage, he blew his top, and when he told that it was Pernia who was responsible for it, nodded his head and was silent for a few seconds. The source said that the president ordered the dismissal of Pernia through Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea, who later requested the NEDA secretary to submit his resignation letter. The task of implementing the PhilSys is given to the Philippine Statistics Authority, which is under the National Economic and Development Authority headed by Pernia. The law also ordered the creation of the PhilSys Policies and Coordination Council, a body of 14 agencies, to make sure the ID system was implemented smoothly. Pernia was chairman of the council. With Pernia's firing, the president was quick to replenish the post with the appointment of Finance Undersecretary Carl Kendrick Chua as the new NEDA chief. Issues aside, the Philippine Identification System initiative of the Duterte government is currently still in its pilot testing stage after almost 2 long years. Under the law, the program is shelved 2 billion pesos in funding every year for 3 years, totaling to 6.9 billion pesos. Under Chua, the PSA targets to register 5 million people for 2020. The hard-working and intelligent former Undersecretary also said that they will be registering families instead of individuals to hasten the process and help the government in its relief efforts while the country is still fighting for the COVID-19 pandemic. The national ID would contain basic information like a person's full name, sex, date of birth, place of birth, blood type, address, and citizenship. Marital status, mobile numbers, and email addresses are optional. Biometric information will also be recorded, including a front-facing photograph, full set of fingerprints, and iris scan. Other identifiable features may be collected if necessary. According to Republic Act No. 11055, the system aims to eliminate the need to present other forms of identification when transacting with the government and private sector. The ID system program aims to register all Filipinos by mid-2020, but that seems far from achieving, although we at Road to Progress have a high hopes that it will be hastened with Secretary Chua heading the NEDA. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas is tasked to produce the IDs. We hope we gave you enough information regarding the topic. If you have questions and suggestions, please drop a comment below and we will try to answer and address each the best we can. Also, if you like this video, please hit that like button below. We would appreciate a lot.